Welcome student. Now we are going to look at this fifth lesson, that is temperature. We have already started this lesson. Okay. Now we revise some points uh, that we have to understand betterly. Okay. On the first page we have a battery who is on and put the light on a stand. In picture A it is a perpendicular to that papers, and in paper B she is a slanting, that paper is a slanting at 120 degree. So here we have to find out the difference between the A picture and B picture. Okay. In the A picture, the area which cover the battery lights are low, while in the B picture it covers the larger area than picture A. It is due to the slanting of that paper. It is 120 degree. It is slanted, so the lights covered a larger area than that of picture A, who is perpendicular to the paper. The lights are perpendicular to the paper. So here in figure 5.1, the perpendicular and slanting area occupied by the torchlight rays, and we must understand the difference between the perpendicular lights and a slanting area. The lights occupied more area than that of a perpendicular. So here we have this activity, that is do it by yourself. The apparatus and the process of this activity is: take a torchlight and keep it stable at once. Take a two large paper sheet large enough to accommodate the entire beam of light. Paste the papers on two flat boards. Hold the board perpendicular to the beam as a figure A. Draw a outline of the area lit up by the beam. Name the paper A. Now use the other paper. Hold it in a such a way that it makes an angle of 120 degree with the beam. So it is in the figure 5.1b. Draw outline of the area occupied by the beam. Name the paper B. Observe the both papers A and B. Now tell us, on which paper does the beam occupy larger area? So here the answer is the paper B. On the paper B, where it has a 120 degree slanting papers to the light beam covers the larger area than that of a perpendicular light. On which paper the area is smaller? On paper A, the area is a smaller. Okay. Now change an angles between the beams and light papers. Observe the changes that occurs in the area occupied the beam light. So when we changes the angles, the slanting angles covers this beam light covers the larger area. So next question is, what is the relations between the angles and the paper that the area occupied by the beam? So it is related, this answer is related with the spherical shape of the earth. Okay. So here sun rays comes towards the earth, travels in a straight line. However, as the earth is a spherical in a shape, there is no perpendicular to all parts of the earth's surface. In some parts are perpendicular, whereas in the others they are slanting. Let us see what effect it has on the earth. the perpendicular rays occupies less area, while the part where the rays occupy lesser area receives a bright sunshine, greater heat, hence the surface gets heated more and air becomes hotter. While at the slanting area, in this area sunlight appears less bright, there is a less heat, hence the surface that gets less heated, the air too is a less hot. So these are the difference between the perpendicular rays and the slanting area, okay, at the north pole. So here this is the spherical shape of the earth, and the A we get at the equator points a straight line of heat. So the temperature at the equator is very high, while at the tropic of Cancer we have very less amount of temperature. So we counted less hotness or less temperatures than that of a equator region. And at the north pole it receives hardly any sunlight, so it does not get so much heat from the sun. So the temperature at the north pole regions are very low. There are majorly occurs the snowfalls, and the lands are covered with the snow. So the sun rays falling on the earth are straight and parallel to each other. However, we seen that it is due to the spherical shape of the earth, the resultant curvatures of the surface, they occupy larger or a less area. This leads to unequal distributions of the heat received from the sun, resulting in the decreasing temperatures from equator to north and south pole. Based on the distribution, the temperature, the earth can be divided into torrid, temperature and frigid zone, or tropical temperature and polar regions. They try to understand this from the figure 2.4 and 5.3. Here is a 5.3 figure. So at the north pole and the south pole there is a frigid zone. It is always covered with the snow. At the 66 degree 30 minutes south and 66 degree 30 minutes north. Above them it is a frigid area. It is considered as a frigid area. The temperature zone is from 66 degree 30 minutes north to 23 degree 30 minutes north. It is referred as a temperature zone. And from south also it is 66 degrees 30 minutes south to 23 degree 30 minutes south. It is considered as a temperature zone, while at the equator at the 0 degree torrid zone it is considered as a torrid zone. Okay, these are the different parts of the thermal zones on the earth. Okay, so here we have an experiment by do it yourself. Take 2 pots of the same size and fill them with the water equally. At the sunrise, keep one pot outside the house and other one inside the house. See that it remains in the sun all the times, as shown in the figure 5.4, the heating and cooling of the water. In the afternoon, walk with the barefoot on the floor inside the house. Feel the temperature of the floor. Feel the temperature of the water in the pot inside. Perform the same activity outside of the house and get the feel of the temperature of a land and water kept in the sun. Write down your observations about the temperature of the land and water. As we the pot which put inside the house are also get the less heated than that of the pot which put uh, outside the house. Okay, and do this activity at in the evening at the 7 o'clock also. What it happens, then we have an explanation. You must have realized that the land cooled down earlier than that of a water. The water kept outside in the sun is a still little warm. Due to this difference in the heating and cooling of a land and water, the air over the land gets heated faster and it also becomes cooler rapidly on the land. Okay, then the air over the water gets heated slowly and also loses his heat in a slower manner. In the coastal area, as compared to the continental area, the temperature of the air is lower during the day and warmer at the night. Contrary to this, the temperature of air in the continental areas is higher during daytime and lower at night. In the coastal areas, because of the heating of the seawater, water vapors gets mixed in the air. These water vapors hold the heat in the air. As a result, the air in the coastal areas remains uh, moist and warm. Conditions in the continental areas are opposite. The water vapors is absent. The air remains dry. This leads to the sharp difference in the day and night temperature. The difference in the maximum and minimum temperatures of the day is called as a diurnal range of temperature. Diurnal range of temperature. In short, the difference in the day and night temperatures is less in the coastal areas while more in the continental areas. For example, Mumbai is which is situated on the bank of the sea, Arabian Sea, put at the Nagpur, are they are lot in the coastal region of Konkan. The range of the temperature is less, but in Vidarbha the range of the temperature is found to be higher. Therefore, coastal areas have an equable climate, whereas in the continental areas the climates at the extreme. For example, the climate in Mumbai is equable, whereas the continental locations like Nagpur it is extreme. The difference in the mean temperature in the summer and winter is called as annual range of temperature. So here we have an experiment that is, do it yourself. A pot with water is placed on a burner. Drop 5 to 4 small plastic buttons in it and observe the movement of the water. Water expands on heating and the hot water from base moves upward with it. The buttons also to push to the surface. Relatively cooler water in the upper portions moves downward, taking the button with it. This happens repeatedly. In other words, on heating, an upward current sets in the water. In nature, these conditions are slightly different. Due to the temperature difference, both upward and horizontal current develops in the ocean. Besides temperature differences, factors like wind and differences in the density of water also gives rise for the horizontal current. This ocean current flows from equator to the polar regions, from polar regions to the equator. See in a figure 5.6. When an oceanic current flows from the frigid zone to torrid zone, it reduces the temperature of the coast in the torrid zone. When current flows from the torrid to frigid zone, it increases the temperature of the coasts in the frigid zone. Here are the currents of the sea. Look at this, how it flows. Okay, from equator to the north pole or a south pole, and it comes from north pole to south pole to the equator. This is called ocean currents. Okay, here we have the annual average temperature of the earth. Okay, temperature at the equator we have more temperature and we have less temperature, average less temperature at the north and south pole. Okay, considering the temperatures of the various places of the here we have an informations about this. Considering the temperature of the various places on the earth, the maps of the global distributions are prepared in 5.7. Okay, is drawn with the help of the isotherms. Isotherms are the lines connect places with the same temperature. After avoiding the effect of the height, these lines are generally appears parallels latitude on the map. Observe the isotherms, that is 25 degree Celsius on the map. The line occupies area close to the equator, while shape of these lines are like to an ellipse on the map. North and south spread ellipse is greater the continent has compared to the ocean. The isotherms lines occupies the some part of the continents of the South America, Africa, Asia, Australia. In a very limited portions of the Pacific Oceans is occupied by the isotherm. You will find the two isotherms with the label 0 degree Celsius. These 0 degree Celsius isotherms from the south hemisphere is largely straight line with the parallels to the line latitude. Comparatively, the lines of the same values in the north hemisphere and deviates north and south considerably. In the west, the part of the Pacific Oceans, it is fairly straight, but when it enters the continent of the North America, it turns somewhat to the north. There these lines are proceeds. Here is a thermometer. Eastward within a short distance, and after entering the Atlantic Ocean, it turns towards the northeast. In this part, you will find all the isotherms lines turning towards the northeast. This is because the warm ocean currents is located in this area. Further, after entering Eurasia, while moving eastward, it turns somewhat to the southeast. Still further, the Pacific Ocean, most of the isotherms lines keeps moving eastward as a straight line. In north hemisphere, the distance between these lines are varies. In the hemisphere, the proportions of the land comparatively greater. This affect the distribution of the temperature. These effects are the seen in the form of variations, and the distance between the isotherms covered nature of these lines. So here we have the different temperature of the oceanic current. Okay, here is the thermometer, simple thermometer, which calculate the temperature. Okay, here is an instruments of a thermometer. Different types of thermometers are used for the measuring the temperature of the air. Mercury or alcohol is used in the thermometer. The freezing point of the mercury is a minus 39 degrees Celsius, whereas that of the alcohol is a minus 130 degrees Celsius. These materials are highly sensitive to the temperature variations. Therefore, variations in the temperature from minus 30 degrees Celsius to plus 55 degrees Celsius can easily be observed with the help of this material. The units of measuring temperatures are degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit. As shown in the figure, these are expressed as a degree Celsius or a degree Fahrenheit. The difference in the daily temperature can be observed with the help of this thermometer. Air temperatures is measured in Celsius. So here are degree Celsius and degree Fahrenheit. Okay, and we calculate with the help of mercury or alcohol, because it is very sensitive to the temperature in the air. Okay, now we will stop here. Here is an example of or exercise given below. You have to complete it and send it. Here are the some links, that is National Geographic and ucar.agubbc.co.uk, where we get and more informations about the temperature subject, temperature lessons. Okay, so now we will going to stop here.